Alright YouTube, long time no see, eh? Well, today we're going to learn how to, create a website using CSS, which is not actually that hard because it's just HTML, and then use another file, which is the CSS file, style sheet, to sort of say how your website looks, so your file doesn't become that, like, clogged, with information, and it's better for search engine optimization. Now, for this tutorial we're going to be using a template which I've created in Photoshop. Well, I haven't done it yet, but I will, and now I'm just going to go through the basics of what we're going to need to create this website. And let me say, we are not using Dreamweaver. No, we're not using this. And the only program we're using is Coda. And the reason we're using Coda is because we're going to learn how to do it from scratch, So, in a sec. We're going to learn how to write out the code ourselves, so the reason we're not using Dreamweaver, not only because we'd want to write it ourselves, but is because it's better for the search engine to see. Dreamweaver and front page and all that creates a lot of unwanted code. So another reason why we're going to be using Coda, you could use something like text edit or whatever you have in Windows, Notepad I think it is, or Word. I don't think you can use Word. This is what we're going to be using. I don't know if you can get this for PC actually, so if you can't, just use Notepad or whatever. And another program I'm going to be using is Text Expander, which you might want to use. It gets really helpful when you're creating your own website. And the idea of this tutorial is that you're going to be able to create your own website from the information I've given you, or edit my template to suit your needs, edit the graphics on it, so that you can just use the basis of my website template that I've created and then design it to be your own in Photoshop or something like that. Now what this text expander does is that you program little bits of text, like for starters we're going to need to type out this code, and I'm going to zoom in a bit on it so you can see. I don't know how blurry it's going to be when it comes out on YouTube, but I'm going to try and make it as best as possible. This is the basic code for a HTML website, okay? These are called tags, okay? Anything inside these little arrowy thingy brackets called tags. When you open a tag, it creates a sort of box, let's say. It's not really a box, but it creates a box, and then you close the box with this tag, okay? And then everything else is inside that box or that tag. And inside that box we've got another box. Okay, box isn't really the term we should be using, but just so I can show you what I mean by it if you don't understand already. That's kind of what it is. And now you can see I've got a tag for the title, which we can call YouTube template maybe. And another thing we're going to have to do is attach a style sheet to our thing, which we haven't created yet, but we might as well attach it in advance. So you can either type out this code. All the code will be in the information box. Now, try not to copy and paste it, guys. It's just, if you copy and paste it, you're never going to learn it, sort of thing. I mean, I know I've learnt it, and then I've no need to learn it anymore because I've got the little text expander up here, which I can just type out a little bit, and it types out it all for me. But I know this off by heart, so really, if you're going to be creating a website, you should too. Now, as you might be able to see here, and more observant ones of you, the file that is the CSS file, I've default called it style. I mean, you can call this whatever you want. You can call it Bobby if you want, or just Bob, and that could be your CSS file. But I always use just style because it seems to be a lot easier to to refer to. Okay, that's the first bit, and if we save this, you're going to want your own little folder for this website. So I'm going to put it on my desktop. I'm going to call it YouTube template. That seems like an easy name. And your first page is either going to be a template page, which you don't want to do that. Just call it index.html. Make sure it's .html. If you can't see the extension, you need to click this box, and you want to save that in that folder. Now you've got your first page. Now if we preview this, the Coda preview isn't that good, so I normally click Safari one. And there, that's your website. As you can see up here, it's already called YouTube template. And a big fail that people normally make when design something in Dreamweaver is not calling it right, or it'll just be untitled. So we want to make sure we got that title right. Now, something we're going to be using vastly, or if that's even the word I can use, a lot, I mean, is something called div tags, which in our body, which is basically the main box for the website, where it's like the box, okay? It's the box. So it's all this bit, see? This is the body. We're going to put in, you can put in a div tag. Well, I just type div because I've got text expander on, which is this bit of code here. Now the ID of this, so you know, I've left a little space in my text expander. The ID is going to be wrapper. Now wrapper is going to hold everything. So this code is basically what it's saying. Let me run you through all the code. So HTML is setting the page so it knows it's a HTML page. Head is where we're going to link to stuff, or basically coding stuff about the website more, linking to other files, what it's called, that sort of thing. And then body is all your content. All your content is in body. Okay? Hopefully you're still with me. In this div, we can make another div, which we can call, we will call that header. And then in that header, we will create a div called, actually no, we won't, nothing in header. Underneath header, we're going to call, we had a thing called main, maybe? Depends what you want to call it really. And then underneath main, we're going to have our footer. So basically, you've got one box, and then inside that box, we have 3 boxes. The top is going to be header, and underneath header is going to be main, and underneath main is going to be footer. Okay? Now when you're writing out your code, it's best to indent. Okay? Maybe some of you will be able to understand what's going on here. This bit is the first indent. It's showing you the main box, and then inside that box it's got these 3. That's why it's indented. And if I was to put something inside the header, I could indent that more, and I could have one for, say, logo, and then another for maybe title. You see that? See how it's working? I hope this isn't looking too confusing. If you're obviously someone like me that's used to it, it's not going to look confusing. So basically now what that looks like should be near enough the same. You can't see nothing because no content is on the website, but imaginary, we've got 3 or a couple of boxes. You've got one here, you've got one there, and you've got one there for the footer, and then you've got some inside obviously. Now I'm going to show you these boxes by entering some text. So in the header text, we're going to have one in logo, which I'm going to call logo. We're going to have one in title, call it title. In main, we're going to type main. In footer, we're going to type footer. Or footer. Okay, now when you look at this, you can see how it is, yeah? Now obviously you're going to want logo and title together, which we can sort that out in CSS later. Now this is just, what I've showed you is just the absolute basics for the HTML page. And then I'll show you how to make it actually look like something using the CSS, which is the beauty of it. Because none of the styling will be in this page that the search engine will see.